long. All right, welcome back to this fine class on building a healthy lifestyle. Appreciate you joining us again today. We'll be recorded for those who weren't able to attend so they can view this later on. But this is the follow-up to our live session a few weeks back on the fitness first cornerstone, which I think is the most important cornerstone to building a health-based healthy lifestyle, is to getting your fitness program in line. We talked about our options and choices. We talked about our goals. We tried to show you how you can fit a particular exercise program into a goal. We showed you the plan checklist, what you need to do to utilize to develop your fitness plan. What are the components, what you need to have a good, strong fitness exercise program that'll serve you well. And that's something that is pie in the sky that you could never do, because that's never any fun to see people fail like that. So we'll get on to this part, the second part, and I am going to share the screen with you for my PowerPoint, and we can start going over some of that good stuff. Here we go. All right, can we all see that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Move this over to the side so I can see it. Okay. So this is module 2. This is, again, fitness first. So what we're going to do is talk about what it is and why it's so important. And I share this because it's your road and only yours alone. Others may walk with you, but no one can walk for you. So it's, in other words, it's you need to do the work. We can't put something in front of you and expect it to work by itself. You've got to take the step. You've got to take it, walk step by step through it. Important thing, people inspire you or they drain you. Pick them wisely. Famous quote from Hans F. Hansen. So surround yourself with people that support you rather than drain the energy out of you. And we don't like those people unless they're family. We have to have them. But we all know those kind of people who aren't really good for us in the long term for our health. This is the first story. I sent you this about Joan McDonald. Joan McDonald, one second. Joan McDonald's story is quite unique. She was in her 70s when she decided to change her life drastically. She feels better now about herself and credits that to how she turned her life around despite being in her 7th decade. Just to tell you, it's never too late to make any change. She was insecure in 2016, unhappy, weighed almost 200 pounds, incredibly unhealthy. She had been prescribed medication for acid reflux, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and was basically generally unwell. One day, her doctor gave her some news that changed her mind forever, and she decided it was time to become a better version of herself and inspire many people in the same position to do the same. She had undergone knee surgery, abdominal surgery, suffered from progressive arthritis, and had a strained relationship with her family because she was so insecure. We all know people like that. She didn't like how she looked. And even though she had a gym membership, she didn't go often because she wasn't sure how to use the machines. And that's pretty typical with a lot of people as well. So she also tried to avoid family activities and being in photos with families. She was very uncomfortable and unhappy. She said, I would do anything not to be in this picture because I had a picture taken and I hate it. So we've all had pictures that we're not too happy about, but she used it. She saw that doctor and he told her that her health was not improving and she needed to increase her medication dosage. Talking about how that made her feel, McDonald said she recognized her health was going downhill and she needed to change for the better. So this was a picture of her before and she looked now. Her mother had been in a nursing home before she passed away, and she didn't want to end up in the same situation. She knew her time on earth was limited and said, I don't want to be like that. I was slowly dying and I'm not going to do that. I'm going to live. Her daughter, Michelle, was also concerned about her mother's way of life in December 2016, Michelle and her husband, both bodybuilders, fitness enthusiasts, visited McDonald and were shocked at her condition. Michelle was so concerned about her mother, could hardly use the stairs in her home due to her weight. She knew she had to help her in some way. Michelle had a discussion with her mother about her weight. Then she begged her to join an online fitness program she had been leading for 6 months. She readily agreed, she recalled. When Michelle gave me that ultimatum to do something about my life, I figured it was now or never. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. We all know that feeling. She was existing, not living. She wanted to have energy, feel good, and be able to walk upstairs with ease. From that went on, she began her major transformation. 6 months after McDonald began Michelle's online fitness program, she had lost 45 pounds. However, the weight loss took a lot of work, and it is a lot of work. She had moved her mom with her in Mexico, where she thought she could teach her better in person about proper diet, proper techniques in the form and in the gym. So, yeah, this is the type of program that we have here, which is similar to what she had. I'm trying to coach you to help her as her mom helped along the way. But that was her before picture in 06 and what she took 6 years later. Big difference.
Yeah.
So now she reaches people worldwide. She's got Train with Joan on all the social media. And she shared her photos with her mothers and grandmothers, hoping they would be inspired. She hopes that people are similar position will be able to make the necessary changes to help them become healthier and feel better about themselves in the long run. She encourages others by saying that if they're not happy, they should start by making small changes. Intent, we always talk about baby steps, small changes, one day at a time, one step at a time. Those small changes will lead to a healthier life. She also advises others to surround themselves with people who help them get where they want to be. Again, surround yourself with good, supportive people. She hit the gym. She learned how to exercise.
Wow.
She advises people to start as soon as possible because by the time they reach the age she was when she started, it might be too late for them. So even though that's not the case, it's never too late to start a good exercise program. She began her program strictly to lose weight and feel healthier. When she started seeing muscle definition from her hours in the gym, she found she had a brand new goal that had nothing to do with weight loss. Shot gym was making her stronger and giving her stronger bones. She wondered why anybody wants soft bones. And when they could have strong, healthy bones. Now, whoever heard the term soft bones? It is a term in that it goes back to the structure of your bones. If you don't use weight training to strengthen bones, your bones won't make the necessary changes to get stronger and not as soft. So you're not as susceptible for breaks when you do fall or to cause you fall. Her fitness tips, these are important. Her top 5 tips on how to make the most out of one's journey. Talk about this, and we'll get to this more in the next grouping, is to first prioritize your sleep. She believes getting 8 hours of sleep is utmost important. You cannot recover and you cannot move forward without getting enough quality sleep. Her second tip, to hydrate frequently. Always have protein with every meal. And she also recommends eating 5 small meals a day. Now, there's a lot of different philosophies on that. We'll get to that when we get to the nutrition aspect of this, on what you can do to alter your metabolism to speed it up. Her third tip is to get active in any way possible. Start by aiming to walk 10,000 steps a day. And hint, we're coming to the walking program next. It is the key, as it was to her key, to start walking, to get her the small successes she needed to make the next step to improve her health and start that fitness program. From that, she built her nice fitness program. Her 4 tips involve positively, which will take a while to discuss and a while to perfect. We're going to get to that in the next section. Mindset is something I'm still learning, she says, and I know it's a very strong factor in everything. It's something you really have to work on. Being positive, having a good quality mental attitude, positive attitude toward every aspect of your life is so important. Her 5th tip is to document progress. Take photos of body changes each week to keep yourself motivated. She hopes that it'll help other people just to motivate, to see what helped motivate her, that you will find the same success and results as well. She now posts about her journey. Again, if you go to her
Zoom.
She has a lot of Facebook followers and posts regularly out there. So here's one lady's story, a positive change, like first starting an exercise program. She got motivated. Her daughter helped with the motivation, got her taking that first step, started a walking program, and started moving forward. So I'd like to throw in these stories. We had the story last section about the other woman who lost all that weight, began her exercise program. So again, the first part of the exercise program fitness program is your walking program. Now, many people walk all the time, but there's many types of walking, and there's better ways to walk. So you got to learn out what entails a walking program. So people say, why walk? Why is it so important? Walking keeps your body balanced. In other words, it keeps your muscled bones along a similar strength profile, keeps your tendons stretched. It's not only about isometric contracting exercises. When you walk, you're stretching and walking and contracting muscles all at the same time. It balances out your systems in your body by keeping your metabolic system strong. It supports your mental health. You'll find successes, simple little successes, by walking day after day for the first 30 days, and to see how that improves your health. It gives you motivation. It gets you that attitude, that better attitude that gets you going. Walking strengthens your heart and lungs. You don't need to get on a treadmill. You don't have to run a 10K run. You just need to start moving. As you huff and puff as you're walking, you're going to improve your health tremendously. I can't tell you how important it is, walking program. It boosts your metabolism. Like I said, it aids in digestion, getting everything moving through by walking is one of the best ways to get things going, and it enhances healthy aging. So what is healthy aging? That is being able to live healthier as long as possible, increasing that health span we talked about earlier in the program. Not necessarily as much about adding years to your life, but adding life to those years. So walking is all of that. So you say, how much is important? How much cardiovascular exercise, which walking will do, is important? The latest guidelines, American Department of Health and Human Services recommends 150 minutes of moderate aerobic activity per week, 30 minutes per day times 5 days a week. Simple walk. If you do that, you're going to meet or exceed the recommended exercise requirements, or 75 minutes of vigorous aerobic activity a few times per week, 15 minutes per day, 5 days a week. So what is vigorous aerobic activity? Strength training class that gets you out of breath. Anything that takes you to the point where you're gasping an extra gasp of air is a vigorous level. Now that's different for everyone. What's more vigorous for me is maybe too vigorous for someone else. So it's all up to everybody's perception of how they're exercising, what determines vigorous activity. But the way the rule of thumb I always say is, if you're breaking a sweat, you're doing vigorous activity. You can walk all day long without sweating unless it's 85, 90 degrees outside, because you're not burning enough calories fast enough to create a heat increase within your body. So you need to get that heat increase. You need to build that body internal core temperature up so that you can exceed those recommendations. But where should you walk? Shopping districts, go to a local shopping mall. Not a mall, but necessarily a strip center where there's a lot of shops. Take a walk from store to store. Parks and trails, my favorites. I love to trail walk into the parks. We did it on our way back from Texas last week. We took 5-mile walks throughout the evening when we got done setting everything up. Did our 5-mile walk in. Tracks at local schools and malls. Most schools have tracks outside. Go up to the school, walk around the track. It's easy to know how far you're going. 1 lap, a quarter mile. So take a nice trip to the local school or to the mall. You saw the mall walking was really big a while back. It's still out there, not as many malls as there used to be, but a good mall walking program in bad weather is a great option. Hospital systems, you ever been down to Cleveland Clinic? They got about 5 miles worth of connected building trails that you can walk through all the halls of the Cleveland Clinic downtown and get a good exercise. If you happen to be down at the doctor's or taking someone there, get yourself hustling around the hospital corridors and those connectors. Neighborhoods, taking a walk around your neighborhood. Just simple way to do. I walk my dog around my neighborhood into the local parks, local rec centers, taken to the track at the rec center, or even in your home, just standing in place and walking in place, walking up and downstairs are a great way to get your steps in without ever leaving the house. So that's kind of like the where. Where do we exercise? Where do we walk? So again, we got the why, we got the where, we got the how. What is the types of walking? Now, again, there's everyday walking. That's just doing your chores, walking from here and there to your car, to the store, in and out. That's everyday walking. And those adds up steps. But there's ways to improve upon that. There is fitness walking, interval walking, and hiking. Now, hiking is just taking your everyday walking step up 1 notch, taking it to level surfaces where your ankles have to be more stronger and will build strength within your ankles and your lower legs when you're walking not on a straight flat surface. My favorite to talk about is fitness walking. And you say, what is fitness walking? I did a walking class at the rec center here for a short period of time, and just teaching people the ins and outs of what fitness walking is. Fitness walking is that brisk level that we talked about a little bit earlier. That's where you're getting yourself almost to the point where you can't hold a conversation with somebody walking with you because you're breathing that requires you to breathe a little bit deeper. That's an important walking program, and that's something that you can increase your walk, your daily, everyday walk at a higher level by throwing in some intervals within your daily walk, where you're walking a little bit faster for 2 or 3 houses, and you slow it down. Couple houses, go faster. So your interval, increasing your resistance, up and down, increasing your tendency to have to breathe a little bit harder to keep your blood oxygenated. So those are a couple different. Nordic walking, you see in the poles, like you see people with the cross-country skiing. Well, they're walking with poles. When you do Nordic walking, you automatically start using your upper body more than it's used to. You're using the poles, you're striking the ground, you're pushing off. You can get to a pretty quick clip walking with poles in the Nordic walking style. That's a little bit more advanced than even the interval walking or the basic fitness walking, because it takes some coordination with the sticks of the right length, the right height, and get your coordination down. But it's a great exercise opportunity for people. They say, what is mindful walking? Mindful walking is a little bit slower pace, where you're just trying to take in everything around you. So you have the sights, the sounds of your walk, whether it's indoors or it's outside. If you're in a park, listening for the nature, the sounds, being mindful of where you're at, when you're at. You can't do that when you're going at a really, really fast clip because you're worrying about your pace. So it's good to take a mindful walk every now and then. Just go up to a local trail, even a little quarter-mile trail around the building, or even through the woods, and take an opportunity to get a few minutes of mindful walking. We're really concentrating on the benefits of where you're at, when you're doing, the opportunity you have at your, for you to do that. The last one I discuss here is breath and labyrinth walking. Now, those are even more nuanced to them than when most people are used to, but breath walking, we talk a little bit, you'll get into it when we go over the 30-day Get Walking Challenge about breathing, taking 5 steps on an inhale, 5 steps on an exhale, controlling the breath with a deeper inhale, a longer, slower exhale. And then there's labyrinth. You ever seen those things where they got those diagrams when they start from the outside, they work in, they add this, like the labyrinth. And there are places that have these set up where you're in a local park and you can just follow the labyrinth with a mindful determination as you walk and relax, you're able to get more mindful into it and get a little bit different type of benefit out of it. So you can see there's a lot of different types of walking, and we should incorporate as many different types of walking as we can periodically to make sure that we're covering all our bases. So the technique is so important. We all have our own gait, our ability to put one foot in front of the other. Some of us have a little quicker, faster gait. Some of us have a little slower, more awkward gait. Now, these are things that can improve as you go through your walking program. But in general, there's a few things you need to keep in mind. Is keeping your eyes up. We don't want to be looking down at the feet in front of us. It causes us to hunch forward, drop our head. We get a slight lean forward. We're not walking as efficiently. You're not able to get your gait like you should. Your shoulders should be up, back, and down. We shouldn't be hunched shoulders, rolled forward. Get those shoulders up, back, and depressed. So their arms are able to swing from your shoulders. That's an efficient way to walk, as if you have your hands are just sliding right past your thighs, right past your hips as your arms swing side to side. And at the same time, you're maintaining a neutral spine. You don't want to be, like I said, you don't want to be hunched over and you don't want to be extended. You want to have just a neutral spine where your spine is rolled forward and you have that natural curve in your back. So important for just a general walk. You want to land on your heel. You see the toe walkers, the people who pound their feet flat on the ground, flat, pound, pound. You want to land on your heel. You want to roll onto the forefoot, and you want to push off strong through your toes. To increase your speed or your rate of walking, it's much better to do shorter, quicker steps than really long strides. So it's also safer. It's like they say, little people go with the little steps. Take a little shorter, quicker steps. It's much more efficient to walk than it is by taking the super long strokes, the long steps. You want to also remember, you want your front leg to be straight. When that heel hits the ground, that leg should be straight. You shouldn't have a bend in your knee as your foot hits the ground. Your foot hits and rolls on a straight leg as you roll across the foot. Very important to have that front leg straight. Again, if you've got some limiting factors, an injury that you're dealing with, some past surgeries that affect your ability to straighten your leg, you're going to be limited in what you do. But just keep that in mind. You want to be as straight as possible. And your posture, again, is your key. Putting that all together, standing up straight, shoulders back and down, not hunched forward. Not, you see the back walkers are leaning actually backwards, looking upward. It's not as often, but I've seen those people that are walking and are actually gazing up into the sky. Their hips are rolled too far forward and they're actually got their back arched too much. So the posture is key for a walk. All those things put together help you walk more efficiently so that then you can walk at a greater distance to get your benefits going, to get your exercise going. Simple, we'll cover this really quickly, but it is important, is the gear. What's important to have a good, healthy walking program? You need to have the right socks and shoes. It's important. You go to a specialty shoe store to try shoes on. You don't necessarily have to buy them there, but they're going to give you the best opportunity to fit you for a good shoe. Shop late in the day. As the day goes on, our legs swell naturally. If you go measure your feet, get shoes first thing in the morning, and you walk in the evening, shoes going to be a little bit tighter. So it's a good thing to remember is to shop late in the day for your shoes when you're probably going to have a little bit more drainage into your lower legs and your feet a little bit swelled up. And important thing is buy your socks first. Buy a good pair of good socks when you try shoes. You don't want to try on your shoes with those thin little try your shoes on socks. You want to have the socks that you're going to walk on so that now your shoes fit appropriately to your feet with the socks you're going to wear. So it's just a little nuance to buying a pair of shoes is to get the socks first. Get a good dozen pair of socks because as you walk, they will wear out, such as your shoes. Try and walk both walking and running shoes. You can walk in running shoes, but you shouldn't run in walking shoes. They're not built the same. They're not as sturdy. The running shoes are a little bit sturdier. They're able to be more flexible. They're going to last you longer. But if you're not a runner and you don't feel comfortable wearing running style shoes, buy a really good walking shoe. But just remember, we're only talking walking. We don't want you going out running a 10K in walking shoes because they won't have the support on your feet and you're going to break your feet down a little bit sooner. You're going to have some feet issues. So shoe size matters. You can't wear too tight or too loose of shoes. It's just as important as your dress shoes is having good fitting walking shoes. So make sure they're fit for your feet by a professional so that you get the right size for your foot. And again, you don't necessarily have to buy them from there. If you find them cheaper, at least you'll have an idea what's a good fitting style walking shoe that you have success for. A good walking shoe should last you years and years as opposed to a running shoe, which they recommend a really good long distance runner. They recommend they change it. They buy new shoes every 200 to 300 miles, which is not a lot for a long distance runner. That's just the pounding on the shoe on the ground breaks them down, but not so much when you're just walking. You're don't have the sheer force pounding through the heel as you do in a walking shoe. Heel profile matters. We don't want too high a shoe, and we don't want those funky earth shoes with the heel lower than your toes. They look really good on commercials and on those dummies in the stores, but you should have a nice flat heel, not too high. There are those dressy looking sporty tennis shoes that people buy, and most of the young kids at higher heels. They look really good, but they're not going to be what you want to have. So don't buy any of those. Get a good supportive heel profile. Important part of listening to your body. We want to avoid injuries. So we start a walking program. You're going to have some issues that are going to come right out of the bat. You're going to feel sore if you're not a regular walker. You got to listen to your body. You got to practice that good form we talked about. Go up to the local track and mindfully walk a lap, paying perfect attention to your back, your posture, your shoulders, your straight leg, rolling from your heel to your toes, and practice good form. If you practice good form, you don't have to do that all the time, but just every now and then, let me see how I'm walking again. Do I have good foot posture? Am I not leaning forward? These things will help you avoid injuries if you practice your good form. Again, every now and then during a walk at the beginning, and then every couple laps, take a quick review of how you're walking, make sure you still have good form. Another thing to help avoid injuries is to pace yourself. It's not a sprint, people. You don't just get out there shuffling down the road as fast as you can right out of the gate, because you're going to find yourself tripping, falling. You're going to find yourself out of breath, and you're not going to get a good feeling from your walk. You should get that immediate impact. Now, that felt good for a nice walk. So you have to make sure you don't go too hard, too fast. Again, the terrible twos. Too soon, too hard, too fast. And rest and recovery is so important in any exercise program, even in a walking program, is giving yourself the appropriate amount of rest. If right off the bat, you can't do 2 days in a row when you get to 20 minutes at that level, then maybe you take a day off every now and then just to give yourself by to get more rest and recovery. Because overworked, overtrained body and your muscles will not serve you well, and you will find yourself more prone to injuries. Post-injury return, if you do happen to roll an ankle on a bad curb, you've got to make sure that you're able to return. So talk to the appropriate people to help you recover from that injury. Rest, ice, compression, elevation. We've all heard the RICE thing for an injury with an ankle, but it could be also a shoulder. If you're a real strong walker and you're really swinging those arms, you could end up with some sore shoulders or other issues like that. So you have to make sure that you rehab those injuries before you return back to the pace you were. Again, for avoiding injuries is the weather. You're not going to go out and take a nice long walk in the rain unless you really like to walk in the rain. It also increases your chance of injury. So go to the mall, go somewhere indoors where you can get your walk, but at least get it in. And don't forget, the number one thing to avoiding injuries is your pre-walk warm-up. See, what is a pre-walk warm-up? You ever been to any long distance running event or marathon or 10K, anything like this, you don't see a lot of stretching and on their back, stretching their hamstrings out and their ankles as much as you would think. Because when they start when they start their run, they're warming up as they go. Because if you stretch too much prior to a walk, you're going to decrease your efficiency in your walking. Because a stretched cold muscle and tendons will fail faster and injure much quicker than once they're warmed up to normal temperature. So there are some exercises in the walking program, which you will all have shortly, where I just talk about some basic exercises for warming up. It's generally doing what you're going to do in your exercise. So you're not going to go out and warm up with a mile walk, but you're going to walk around, 20, 30 feet, get your posture in line, get your stuff in a row, as they say, so get yourself ready to warm up. Maybe a couple stand up and get up from chairs, warming up your leg muscles, stretching your arms, your shoulder. It's all covered in the pre-warm up program, but it's important. It's just important in a walking program. It is in any exercise program, is to get a good warm up in. You're going to get blisters, chafing between your ankles, your knees, your legs. So you have to be prepared for that. You could avoid injuries by swollen ankles and hands. If you're one of those people who retains water and maybe they're on heart medications for an insufficient heart pumping, you're going to get some swelling in your hands and your ankles. So you got to be understanding of what your capabilities are, your limitations are, if you start having those types of injuries, those symptoms, because they can lead to worse. Side pains and cramping. When I was a kid, I would start running and playing basketball, and I would have those side pains, and I would get cramps, and I had all kinds of problems in my legs, calf cramps, arch cramps. And that's all because of hydration levels. It's also because of magnesium, potassium levels in our body, and the muscles not being stretched out properly. So shin pains. Well, if anybody ran a lot, you get the shin pains, and that's a clear sign that two things: too much, too soon, too hard. You're running too much. You're running before your body's capable to handle that kind of pace or that kind of distance, and maybe too soon after an injury or recovery. So too much, too soon, too hard.
What about shin pains just from walking?
Well, I would say that's more of a walking issue as far as your gait and how you're walking, because you shouldn't get shin pains just from walking if you're not flexing your ankles enough as you walk. You're not pushing off enough. You're not stretching those tibialis muscles that run down the front of your shin that connect your knee into your ankle. If they're not getting enough stretching and you start walking really fast, guess what? They're going to say, I don't like that. And they're going to tighten up and they're going to get pain. So you've got to learn the exercises, standing on your heels, like lifting your toes, so to help stretch out those muscles to keep those shin things from happening in the first place. But it's real. I've had them, and it's not fun when you have a real bad shin pain, or if you get kicked in the shin by somebody, or kicking a table. Been there, done that, and you get that big bruise on your shin. You'll see that's a soft bone up there, and that bone takes a long time to heal when you get a bruise up there. Same with those tendons. It's a slow recovery on that type of lower leg injury. A couple just safety tips when you're out for walking: be familiar with the areas you're walking. Carry some identification. People leave the house with nothing in their pockets, no identification, nothing. You should have some identification on you for various obvious reasons. Communication, have a way to communicate. A phone is so important these days, to have a cell phone with us. You can't keep the long cord from the house phone with you and walk up and down the driveway, but some type of communication, even a walkie-talkie if you're not too far from someone who's monitoring your walk. What do you do as far as carrying cash or a credit card with you? You could find yourself lost somewhere and need to get a taxi ride home, or Uber ride home. So something to think about. What do you carry when you take a long walk? Walking in traffic. Who walks with traffic, or who walks against traffic? even if you're on a side street, always try to walk against traffic. On that sidewalk, walking against traffic, preferably not in the street. You're able to see the oncoming cars when you're walking head on and not being blindsided from somebody hit you from behind. So walking against traffic, either in the street or on the sidewalk, is the safest way to do that. One of the things people do to help avoid boredom that sometimes, have some headphones, have a radio with you, have an iPod, something with music or a podcast or something that you can listen to keep you motivated as you go. Another thing is to be seen. You don't want to take yourself out and away from where you can be seen, where you're more apt to be a victim of some unruly people in the world, and they are all out there. So be seen. You want to be in public unless you have somebody with you in your trail walking. It's recommended to make sure you be seen. Personal safety devices, have something reflective on, especially if it's at night walking. Having something for your own personal safety with you is sometimes important, depending on where you're at. Okay, getting through that's the why, the what, the how, the gear, how you do about walking. So we're going to talk about the walking matrices. I sent those to y'all. You should have both all got an email with those copies. So we're just going to go over a couple of them. The 30-day Get Moving program and the number 1 walking program. These are your starting points. We pull out the 30-day Get Started Walking program guide. This is the matrix that you have that I sent you all. So what it is, okay, frequency, intensity, type, and time. This is a matrix for any type of exercise. What type of exercise it is, how long do you do it, what type, intensity, and frequency. This makes up a good exercise program. So here we got 30 days, Get Moving, Get Started Walking program. So day 1, again, daily pace to start the first 14 days. It's just 1 walk a day. You're starting at a slow pace, walking 5 minutes, turn around, walk 5 minutes back. That's 10 minutes. That's day 1. Again, this is set up for somebody who is not in the current walking program to get them moving. So it's very limited to start with. We don't want to overdo it. So it's just 10 minutes, 5 minutes one way and back for the first 3 days. Then we go to 6 minutes and turn back, 12 minutes, 6 minutes, turn back. And that's slow pace. So you're going through the first week at a slow pace. It's just starting going, getting that walking gait down, getting your pattern down, feeling good about getting through the first week of walking. We get to the second week. This is where we bring in a little bit of breathing. 2 steps per count. So we're breathing 1, 2, exhale 1, 2. 1, 2 steps, exhale 1, 2. So picking up the breath, picking up our pace a little bit. 7 minutes, turn back. 7 minutes, turn back. So 14 minutes. So we've gone from 10 minutes, 12 minutes to 14 minutes through the first 10 days. And we go up to 8 minutes, turn back for 3 days. And then we go up to 10 minutes, turn back. So at the end of 2 weeks, you're going 10 minutes, turn around, come back. So you've doubled your amount of walking. It's just 20 minutes. Again, you can do, you stop. You continue at 20 minutes and just extend this. Again, this is a guideline. It's not for everyone. And you may find you want to do more. You may want to jump right down to day 28 and do 5 steps at a moderate pace, 10 minutes back twice a day for 40 minutes. It's, again, all up to what you do. But I recommend, if you're not on a regular walk program, start with day 1. Whatever day of the month it is, start it. Check it off when you're done. Print this out, put it on your refrigerator, put it on your door. Check it off as you get back. Get your daily walk in. So again, you get into the 3rd week, we go 2 times a day now. We're going 2 steps per count like we did, taking a breath in, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 5 steps in, step, inhale and exhale. 2 steps, 1, 2, 1, 2. So in other words, a 2-step count's a little faster than a simple slower count. We're trying to increase that intensity by increasing your speed. If you're able, you just increase just a 2-step count. Now we have a 2-step count in the third week with 5 steps per inhale. So it's taking 5 steps, it's big breath. Exhale 5 steps. Inhale 5. By doing that, you're going to increase your lung volume. You're going to increase your oxygenation because you're walking at a little faster pace. You need a little bit more oxygen to get to keep your body turning the glycogen into ATP, which gets those muscles going. So you're increasing your pace. 5 minutes up and back twice a day, 20 minutes. We do that 3 days. Then we go 6 minutes, 7 minutes. And so by the end of that first 30 days, you're going twice a day, a moderate pace, 5 steps per inhale, 5 steps per exhale, 10 minutes up, 10 minutes back. So that's 20 minutes per exercise. That's 20 minutes. That's 40 minutes. So I've taken somebody who's done no walking, goes 10 minutes to the end of the month, they're up to 40 minutes. People, this is very doable for somebody who's not a regular walker. I wouldn't want you to go right to 10 minutes twice a day and back from day one. If you're not a regular walker, you're going to hit the plateau. Find yourself overtraining. You're going to doing it too much, too soon, too hard. So we don't want you doing that. So this is a very good basic walking program. I totally recommend start with this if you're not a regular walker. We move on to the program. The next one is number 1 walking program. This is taking it up slightly, 3 times a day. Moderate pace walk, 8 minutes up and 8 minutes back, 48 minutes total. Again, we're slowly increasing our workload. We're slowly getting our body adapted to be able to walk through the grind, keeping those motion. Your hips are going to be feeling it. Your legs are going to be getting a little bit stronger after those first 3 weeks of or 4 weeks of the program. So you can see you're increasing the pace to a moderate pace. So that's a little bit faster than the 2 count. 1, 2, 1, 2. It's a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, a little bit faster if you can. Increasing that pace. Then we go down. We take it down to an easy pace 2 times a day for a few days. Now we're adding a little interval into it. We're going at a little bit faster pace. We're going to come down a couple of days, then back up, down again, and back up. So we're doing a little interval. And that's going to help increase the cardiovascular conditioning. Your body's going to have to make adaptations in your heart and lungs to keep you going. So that's where the easy pace for a few days, 6 steps per inhale and exhale, lengthening the breath. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the exhale. 10 minutes up, 10 minutes back, twice a day, 40 minutes. You're increasing that workload. You're building yourself up. Your pace 6 steps, 12 minutes and back. You're up to 78, 72 minutes and the end of the 5th week. So you're building yourself up. You're not overtaxing most people at this point. You get to the 6th week. Here it is, quickly paced. This is a hustle. This is if you can get yourself at a hustle. 6 steps again per inhale, 6 steps per exhale. Twice a day, 14 minutes one way, 14 minutes back. So if you're walking around the block, you got your watch set, you got your timer set, boom, start walking. Buzzer goes, turn around, walk back. There's your 14 minutes. So find a device, if you got a Fitbit, or you got any kind of timer that you can use. Even on your phone, there's timers in most phones. You can beep it, set it, go, turn around, come back. Or if it's just on the track, 14 minutes, stop, turn around, go back the other way, 14 minutes. So it's pretty easy to understand how I built this up. So the end of the 6th week, second 30 day, 2 times a day, you're walking at a quick pace, 6 steps per inhale and exhale, 30 minutes back, 120 minutes, 2 hours after the end. Now that's an aggressive increase. And a lot of people can do that, but we'll talk about that in the next session as to how to keep yourself motivated to do that and how to arrange your life in a way that says, hey, I don't have 2 hours to walk every day. I'm busy. I got all these things in my life. So that's a whole nother problem, a whole nother discussion that we'll talk about there. But this gets you an idea of what is a walking program. And this is a basic walking program. I've got 6 more of these that have more aggressive approaches to them that will throw changes in from time to time, where you're going to go like 10 minutes really quick, 5 minutes slow, 10 minutes really quick. So we're going to pick and lengthen that interval from instead of 3 minutes to increase that interval. These are all things that are going to make your body say, hey, they're putting more work on me. I have to make adaptations. Your heart, lungs will get healthier. You're going to feel better. You're going to be more motivated to do it because you're going to have some successes as you go along. So those are the first walking programs. That's important to understand that this is, again, a guideline, a recommendation. Frequency, 3 times a day, 2 times a day. Intensity, what is your intensity? Type, it's all walking, but this is just different breaths and then your time. So it's pretty simple to follow. I set it up this way so that you can just stack one paper on top of the other, finish one, go right to day number 1 the next month or whatever the date is you start, and start the new walking program. The other part is the exercise matrix, the basic functional exercise matrix. This is where we talk about what our exercises are. Again, this is your fitness plan. So what you do is going to be different based on your goals than what I'm doing. But this is your basic functional matrix. Frequency, intensity, type, and time, or time and type. Push, pull, prime fit. I made this my company this name specifically for this matrix because any functional exercise, any exercises that are good for you only need to fall into these 5 categories. A push-pull movement. A push-up is the example here. 10 to 12 repetitions of a push-up with just your body weight. It could be pushing off the wall. It could be pushing off the table. That's a whole nother discussion, but this is the matrix that gives you the outline of what you're doing. 2 to 3 times a week. So now you're taking your push-pull. The pull could be just taking a band pull down, which we'll discuss when we get to the next part of the fitness cornerstone. When we get to that section 3 and 4 of it, we'll talk about specific exercises in general. But I want to expose you to this, and I'm going to throw you some of these functional matrices in the emails that you're going to get to show you what I'm talking about. Rotational exercises is your R. 2 to 3 times a week, again, just your body weight, 20, 25 repetitions, seated twist with floor touches. And you can do this in a chair. If you can't sit down on the floor, doing the seated rotations where you're taking your hands and you're rotating side to side, touching your hands to your hips, getting the rotation through the midsection. You can do it on the floor. You can even do it just sitting in a nice, tall exercise chair, not a lounge chair, not a recliner, something sturdy and strong that you can sit up straight, that you can get some rotational work. So that covers your rotation. That is so good and so important for our core. The I stands for intervals. What is intervals? That's basically that walking program, but with a little bit more intensity. 2 to 3 times a week with just your body, as many reps as possible. I'm showing here mini jumping jacks. This is not jumping off the floor. It's swinging your hands up over your head, bending your knees, touching your knees, up over your head, touching your hands. A mini jack. Very good for getting your heart, lungs, because you're taking that intensity.
Hello.
Taking that
Hello, dear.
level. So
Yes. What's
using
cooking?
mini jumping.
I get my treatment today,
Can you mute
Oh,
yourself?
good.
so I just wanted you to know I won't be calling.
Oh, good. So yeah, I would wonder.
Gene, we hear
Thank you.
you. Can you mute yourself?
Oh, sorry.
I'm chilling.
Just hit the space bar. Okay. We're talking about intervals. So mini jumping jacks, as many reps as possible. You may find you can do 25, 50, 100, whatever it is. That's going to get your heart rate up. You're going to be able to recover. 2 sets of as many reps as possible, and rest in between as long as it takes. Locomotion, again, another functional exercise type. 2 to 3 times a week. Walking lunges. You always see me do just a basic lunge. You're taking a walking lunge. You step your right foot forward, you bend your knees, you lunge a little, you come back up, you take your left foot forward. So it's a walking lunge. Simple exercise. And I'm going to have very soon posted all these exercise videos on the website. So you see what I'm talking about for a push-up, a seated twist, jumping jacks, walking lunge. So I wanted you to get the idea of what these matrices are. so that you'll be able to understand the exercises that there are. Walking lunges is our locomotion. We're using all those muscles that we do when we're walking. And the last is elevation change. That's basically body weight squat, standing up, sitting down, even if it's to a chair. Chair stand-ups, chair sit-downs. You're using your overall lower body muscles, your legs. Your core is needed to keep you upright enough so you could stand straight up. Or if you're on your feet, the way I always recommend, just sitting your hips back down, getting a nice body weight squat up and down, 10 to 12 repetitions, 2 to 3 days a week, and you increase your repetitions as you feel comfortable. I have exercise classes. We're doing hundreds of these a day. So it's not that difficult to build up your leg strength quickly enough to build your endurance up to increase that. So this is the functional matrix. This is what you could really use to your benefit to developing an exercise program. In the Fit Start Guide, which I'm sure you've all downloaded by now, right? My Fit Start Guide, I've got the warm-up exercises in there. I've got the walking program. These come right out of there. So you'll see the warm-up program and you'll see the cool-down program in the back of this book. This is your basic exercises. I've got the warm-up program in there. This is what I'm talking about when we're talking about even the walking program, getting some basic warm-up exercises. It's in here. And we can talk about that individually at a later time if you want to. So there's your warm-up program. And there's your cool down program. When you're done with any exercise program, you should do a cool down. So that doesn't mean jumping in a cool tub, a cold shower, or anything like that. It's letting your muscles relax and return to their normal state, their normal stretch state, not cramped up and they're not overstretched. Getting your body in a cool down position to prevent cramping later and afterwards and further injuries, to go through a proper cool down. So those are important to do, the cool down program. So this is your functional matrix. I wanted you to see it. It's part of the exercise program. You can use this form. I will give you a blank one of these as well. You could put in anything you want. Use it as a guideline for yourself. You may want to do table push-offs. You may want to do stand up reaching for your toes with twists to get your twists, your rotations. And there's a lot of options. There's a whole list of exercises I have that you can choose from and plug those into those spots. The type of exercise, that's what this T is. So as you see, 5 exercises 2 to 3 times a week with a few reps is really all you need to get started on the basic exercise program. If you're in my classes and in my upper level classes, we do all these exercises in our classes on a regular basis. And the reason I use them because they work. It's nothing fancy. It's nothing that you need an infomercial to see on to work. It's just basic functional exercises. Stuff you did as a kid when you were able to climb around the ground, climb on the monkey bars, as I say, and do all the things. We may not want to do that later in life, but we should be able to if we had to. And these type of exercises will get you into that kind of conditioning quicker than you think if you stick with it. Again, an exercise program is just that. It's a program. It's not something you do when you got nothing else to do. You ran out of books. You haven't been to the library, so you can exercise. It's a lifestyle, folks. That's what we're here for. Putting exercise as a main component of our lifestyle is going to improve our life in so many other areas that you need to be doing these on a regular basis. So that's the functional exercise. So now we're just going to open it up for some questions. Let me stop sharing here because I'm sure we all got some questions about the walking program and those matrices. So go ahead, whoever's first. No questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
I know you touched on it, but you mentioned that some of us can't fit in 3 times a day to go walking.
Mhm.
You'll go into that more later on how to figure that out?
Well, yes. I mean, you can increase the length of your 2 days if you can't go 3 times a day twice, or if you build yourself to one longer walk, take a couple days, see how you go, and you can just adapt a 1-day walking program. or once a
Okay.
day walking program. But the reason I break it up into 2 and 3 times is because you may not have an hour straight in a day. You may only have 15 minutes. So do 2 15-minute walks. You do 3
Okay.
15-minute walks. It's just as good as a half-hour walk.
Okay.
You're getting the steps in, which is putting a metabolic load on your body. So your body has to say, hey, what am I going to do? I got to feed this new muscle work that I'm doing. I have to adapt so that I can do it better in the future. So there's a lot of ways to do a walking program. Like you said, those are basic guidelines. Your lifestyle, your life, what your requirements are different than mine and different than anybody else's. So the idea is to give you an idea of format that you can use to build your plan. And
Okay.
like I said, I'm available to work with you individually. We can set up a call, talk about these things on the phone, go through the matrix. I'll send you some other matrices along the way so that you have an idea, especially when we get to the second part of the Fitness First Cornerstone. That's pretty much what it's going to all be about, is setting up specific exercise programs. And this is, and the components and the exercises, going through, watching the videos on doing a body weight squat, going through the videos on doing a walking lunge, so you can see what I'm talking about without being live in class. So the idea is to give you a resource that you can use, and now and in the future through my website, that all these videos will be there, so you'll have access to. So to answer your question, yes.
Thank you.
And of course, I like how it starts out with 10 minutes, but I think that I have to do either less than that, or because I'm really weak now, and up in age. So I don't know if I can follow exactly your program, but I will start it out at least.
Right, Gene, just remember, it's all based on what your capabilities and your current condition is. Obviously, you're not going to do, 2 hours a day. Your
No.
body would say, no, it's going to
No
revolt.
way.
It's going to shut down, right? So you have to go. So maybe you do that first step 5 days. You do that 5 minutes, one back for a whole week, because that's all you can do. It may take you
Right.
longer because we're older. We don't recover as fast. So it takes longer to recover.
And
But
my
that's-
balance is poor.
And your balance. So it's just a general, outline of how we can set up a walking program. Like I said, you can change and make yours any different than you want, and
Got
to
it.
support your
But
capability.
just do it.
That's the whole key. That's the whole
Yeah.
key. You got to do it.
All right.
It's your life. You're walking in your shoes. You got to walk the walk. You can't just talk. So you got
Got
to get out and do it. If you want to make change, you got to do what most people are unwilling to do, and that's put the effort in yourself. Make yourself the priority and get it done. Denise, you had a question?
Excellent setup, Tim. I like it.
All right.
I've been doing some water walking in the Solon pool, like
Mhm.
twice a week. Do you have an opinion on that versus, asphalt street walking or?
I totally recommend exercising in the water, in the pool. I taught aerobic class in the pool for a few years, Macedonia Rec Center. Love doing it. You're working 10 times as hard in the pool than you are on the ground outside. So you're obviously making adjustments. If you're walking 3 pool lengths, you're going to be tired a lot more than if you walked around a track one time, and especially if you're walking with some speed, because your body's pushing that water out of the way. It's a lot more strength involved. I found it too much for me after all the exercise classes in the day and then doing too much water work in the evening, which is when I was teaching it. I was overloading my hips tremendously. It was that much more strain on the joints, and I really gave thought about when I first got into teaching it. So, you have to make adjustments. I would recommend doing both. Getting some ground walking as well as doing the water aerobics classes, because I have to tell you, I'm a full supporter of water aerobics classes. They are, as long as you're not floating on the noodles for 3/4 of an hour and kicking
No.
your every now and then. I mean, good work. You know, there's different types. I've seen the programs, I've seen some of them, and it's
Mhm.
pretty much a party, and it's not really a lot of work, you know, and you got to do the work.
Uh,
You know,
yeah,
you-
I mean, I don't do one of the formal classes. I have my own thing I do. Cleveland Clinic gave me a list of like water exercises, and so it's, you know, moving. And sometimes using the foam weights they have.
Right. No, it's a great change. It's a great a great option for a lot of people, especially if you've got bad joints, your knees and ankles hurt, you're taking the buoyancy of the water, takes a lot of that pounding off of those knees and joints and even your back. So it's a lot easier, and you're burning a lot of calories. If you're moving in the water, you're pushing that water, it's heavy. You know, it's you can do forward walks, you can go to shallower end and do lunges in the shallower end. You can do the side crab walk. There's a lot of things you can do in the water
Yeah.
that are really good exercises, and the more you get, the better. I found the foam weight handles not as effective for strength, but good use for balance, to help you keep balance, using them as almost like water wings, the flotation to hold them up. But I didn't really find a lot of upper body strength options with them for the most part. So I didn't use a lot of them in my aerobics class, but if that's all somebody can do, I mean, it's better than, you know, watching Home Shopping Network.
Thank you.
Yeah. Gail, you have any questions? I guess not.
No, I don't, but thank you so much.
Hopefully you learned something. Kim, any more? Anybody else, any questions?
No, I'm good.
Well, that was easy enough. It went a little longer than I thought. Sorry about that. Again, just think about this. This is a fitness module. This is the cornerstone. You're taking that one of those four cornerstones, fitness, and we're starting to get it in place. Next module is our attitude, motivation, is how we're going to keep ourselves motivated to keep that walking program going, to keep that exercise program. Motivation and exercise adherence is so key to your success. Such as the example, the program we talked before about Joan, the lady who started in her 70s and got in tremendous physical shape to the point where she didn't get into it other than to get herself healthy. And look what happened to herself. She became an internet fashionista, and she's got her big following on the internet because she's now motivating other people. So you never know where it's going to lead you. And it led her to a better place for her, but everybody's motivation is different. But, you know, my belief is that take command and control of your life, enter a fitness program or an exercise program, the cornerstone. Keep yourself motivated, eat better, avoid the stress. You got a great lifestyle. And that's what we're building towards. So we're working through the next module. We're going to get into the attitude motivation, and we'll get rolling on that. This will be recorded. I mean, it is being recorded. I will put it up on the website. You'll be able to review it. And for those who weren't here, I wish you could have been here live. Try to make sure you watch it. Have any questions, email me, Tim at PrimeFITTlife.com, and the emails will get to me. Gene, I found out why you weren't getting emails. I had the wrong email address. I apologize to that.
Good. I'm glad.
You got it today, so I apologize for that. That was
So
my,
Tim, is next session in person, or
yes.
is next week
The
in
first of the month
person, or 2 weeks?
The second one is Zoom. So it's in 2 weeks or 1 week or whatever it is. I think it's in next week, next Monday.
Really?
If I'm not mistaken, let me look at my calendar here. Hold on here.
Yes, it's Monday.
Yeah, I thought so. Whatever that Monday is, it will be the second, third, whatever date it is, it's that Monday. It's
Oh, be the
May
first.
the first Monday of the month.
No, be
Okay.
May 1st.
May 1st, that's the first Monday.
So
So,
will
yeah.
that session be recorded?
Yeah, I did record last one. I don't think I put it up. The last live session, I did record it. I don't think I put it up yet because I was doing all the traveling and worrying about all that stuff. But it'll be up there. I will try to record it as well. But really like you to be there if you can, because you'll get so much more out of it if you can be there live. But
What
otherwise, we'll see
time? What time is that gonna be?
12
It's
o'clock.
always at noon.
12,
12
okay,
o'clock. They're always at noon.
okay,
Get you
good.
before your afternoon naps, and me too.
Yeah.
All right.
Good.
Again, thanks for coming. I
Okay.
appreciate it. Appreciate any feedback you give me. You have any questions, send me an email, give me a phone call, go to the website, schedule a call, and we can talk about anything you need to talk about this program at that time. All good?
Thanks so much. We loved it.
Again, thanks a
Thank
lot
you.
for taking care and worrying about
Thank
yourself.
you.
See y'all soon.
All right, bye.